Hey guys, welcome back to this next tutorial. In this tutorial, what I want to demonstrate is to show you how we can quickly modify this 1x1 flat to make a 1x1 tall. As I've discussed in previous lessons, this flat piece of Lego is the basis for all of the thin or flat pieces. It's just a multiplication of this one piece. Similarly then, we've got this tall piece, which also happens to be then just multiplied out in different directions to create all your large blocks. So what we need to do is just to simply grab this one and modify the height of the first extrusion. So the first thing I'll get you to do is to open your 1x1 flat from your data panel over here, and then as soon as you've opened it, come up to the file, save as, and of course change it from a 1x1 flat to a 1x1 tall. Make sure it's going into the correct folder. Click on save, and then you'll see the name change up here and also here as well. So to modify this rather than redraw it from scratch, we need to go down to the bottom of our page here to see the timeline. And from the left to right, we can see that was the first thing was the sketch. Hover on it so it shows that was the first extrude. There's the sketch of the circle drawn on top. There's the second extrude, and there's the shell. So what we need to do here is just to edit the first extrusion and make it taller. So hover over to make sure you've got the first extrusion, then right click, and we're going to edit this feature. The feature is the extrusion. Click on edit, and you can see here it's defaulted back to the values that we put in before, 3.2. Now I happen to know that every tall block of Lego is actually 3 times as tall as a flat piece. So what we can do, we can use some of the functionality within the program to do some multiplications for us. So just click your cursor beside 3.2, and then go to your keyboard and hold down the shift key and hit the 8 key, which then gives you the multiplication symbol. And the height of this tall piece is 3 times, so 3 times the height of the short piece or the flat piece. So as soon as you put in there 3.2 multiplied by 3, it then defaults to that new distance. Click on OK, and then you can see it already then continues to update the file, puts the stud on top, and if you were to spin that around, it's still shelled out as well. So there you've got the 1x1 tall simply just by editing the extrude of the first, the height of the first extrusion. And one more thing that you might not be aware of that's really handy is being able to check distances on the models without having to go back and find out what all the extrusions were. So up here they've got a little tool that says inspect. Click on that one, and the default one should be measure. If it's not, you can just click on like this, measure, and then you can select. See how my cursor is snapping to that point there. I'm just going to snap to there, come down to the bottom, wait for my cursor to change that little circle, snap to there, and then you can see it tells me what the distance is. So that's a good way of being able to check things on the fly to make sure you haven't made an error somewhere. Okay, so that's basically it, converting your 1x1 flat into a 1x1 tall. How we go with that?